everything is all a means to an end. It's about looting the treasury for all it's worth, because a lot of people recognize that the country is going to shit. And once that becomes obvious that we're heading in a revolutionary direction, the oligarchs very often are going to try to get every last nickel and dime out of the system they can before it breaks.
Oh, yeah.
And while I absolutely cannot stand, nor even care to acknowledge Scott Galloway, the shit lib that he is, I will at least acknowledge that he did do a decent clip regarding how much profit the Trumps have already made since the Donald returned to the White House.
And is there a breakdown as to where? Because a lot of it is the crypto shit. A lot of it, like, I'd be curious to see like a portfolio breakdown as to where he scammed and skimmed the money. Because, you know, he always was such a wannabe billionaire, having all those bankruptcy filings. Like,
no, I'm really, really rich.
No. And I think he always lied about how much he was worth, which is why he didn't want to submit his tax returns and shit. But, you know, he now he is a billionaire. So he has propelled himself into that status with 2 terms. I mean, I'm just curious what the breakdown is. Like, how much of it is from the crypto crap? How much of it is from insider trading?
Well, he's going to explain. He's going to explain.
Trump administration will go down in history as the greatest grift in the history of our economy in terms of the amount of money stolen and the size of it over the shortest period. Just some data here. Trump-affiliated entities have made at least $300 million in trading fees. The Trump family's net worth has increased by $3 billion, or $1 billion a month since he took office. Just some timeline. The Trump coin launched on a Friday night under cover of dark with all the news about the inauguration. By 3 a.m. on Sunday, it was valued at more than $70 billion. And
do you see what picture they used?
Yeah.
I find yes, but again, like a theater setup. That was all a theatrical stunt set up for that kind of imaging. And he got a boost at the time. And it's interesting that that's the photo that they use. No, it isn't. That's what they took it for, was for that purpose.
Now, I don't know if 30 billion of that money was funneled to Israel or not, but it wouldn't surprise me in the least if that were the case.
There were a small number of investors who made large investments on a Friday. Maybe they got a tip or something. They made tens, if not hundreds of millions. And then over the course of the next couple of weeks, about 800,000 smaller investors lost billions. This market manipulation, this what would technically be called insider trading by the SEC, we'll never know, because on April 8th, Trump's deputy attorney general ordered the DOJ's crypto fraud investigation arm to disband.
Of course. Well, how do we think people are going to investigate themselves? It's the same thing as police departments doing an investigation into police misconduct. So what difference does that make?
So I have a hypothetical. Remember that Haktua girl that was popular for like 5 minutes, and then she created. Okay, well, let's just say that it was pretty low brow, to say the least.
I don't know what that even means. A Haktua, what?
Yeah, trust me, you don't want to know. My point is that this girl had her 15 minutes, and one of the things that she decided to do was create a meme coin. And you had these simps. It's just keep it simple. There are circumstances where if you are investing in a meme coin or a crypto coin, you get what you're asking for. Because to me, the only 2 things that I invest in are things that I can touch: real estate and precious metals. If you can't touch it, it can always be manipulated. Just because somebody tells you what a coin is worth, why would you believe it? It's pump and dump schemes. Jordan Belfort, the Wolf of Wall Street, they made a movie on this shit.
Yeah.
They had these, where I lived in Jersey, they had these offices that would just spring up. Guys would get their Series 7 and they would do pump and dump penny stock schemes. This shit goes on forever. And now you have it in a digital format, and these guys are getting suckered into this money. So there's a part of me that's like, yeah, Trump's a crook, but you know what? You're also a sucker if you're fucking putting your money into this shit at the same time. You got Grant Cardone and Eric Trump, the Which one is Eric? Is he Beavis or is he Butthead? I can't remember.
I don't know because I never watched Beavis and Butthead. I just know what they look like. I don't know who's who. And I don't know that with Trump's kids either. I don't know who's who, and I don't care.
Well, point being is that my point is that when you have Eric Trump and Grant Cardone pitching the latest coin, it's like, yes, should they be thrown into federal prison for 30 years like the Israel spy? Yes, they should, but that's not how it works. If you give your money to these schemes, I honestly don't sympathize. There is a part of me that's like, if you don't know the scam by now, if you can't see it.
Yeah. I mean, but that also, to some extent, it's victim blaming. And yeah, I agree, like to me, but I'm not an investor in general, so it doesn't apply to me anyway. And for me, people that are in that, if you're in a place where you're able to invest in crypto, you're not the people I'm fighting for anyway. So I don't particularly have any affinity. Like I don't want people to get screwed over. But that being said, the fact that the president has been profiting at the level that he has is insanity. Like we are so far gone. This is just, again, he's Biff. He is the most honest liar we've ever had in that office. Because at some point, look, you've got Obama, who came in a community worker, community organizer, and left living in an estate on Martha's Vineyard. Okay. So he didn't get that way from public service. So to some extent, they're all like this, but just Trump is so brazen.
No, I'm just a totally honest operator.
Trump posted on Truth Social, "This is a great time to buy Donald Trump media at 9:37 a.m. Between 1 and 1:10 p.m., there was a huge increase in bullish zero-day S&P 500 call options. And then just 8 minutes later, Trump announced a 90-day pause on all of his tariffs, and the market soared almost 10%, one of the biggest one-day gains in history. So someone knew what was going on.
Of course they did. One of the best, most memorable lines of Bernie Sanders' run in 2016 was when somebody asked him about Wall Street, and he said the entire model of Wall Street is fraud. It's not real. You got, again, there is really something to be said for the desperation. Yeah, Patrick's right. Remember NFTs? Yeah, me neither. When I saw the NFTs show up, and I'm thinking, there are people that are really giving money to this. And shame on every last one of those motherfuckers out there who knew exactly what the scam was and they were getting paid for it. Like, oh, look, what they did a thing of me. When you're that desperate, it's not even about desperation. When you're that greedy, when you're that vain, fuck them.
Yeah, and it's no different than it's no different to me than what I call the WCCC in the consultant class, and all of these people getting all their friends and all these contractors and all these people rich off of them serving their public service term. This just happens to be a higher amount, but the people that are taking a cut, those are all the friends of the people that get elected to these positions.
Correct.
Of course they do. He calls them.
That's called insider trading. The market gained $4 trillion while Trump media closed up 23%, increased his net worth by $415 million. On April 23rd, Trump announced that the top holders of the Trump coin would win an exclusive dinner with him, and the coin surged over 60%. Just 58 wallets made more than $10 million apiece, totaling approximately $1.1 billion in gains. Meanwhile, 800,000 wallets of mostly smaller holders have lost money on their Trump coin. And it gets worse. Now, the kids went on it. World Liberty Financial, a crypto firm run by Trump's sons, Eric and Don Jr., and they're entitled to 75% of its.
Oh no, you got to go back, and I need somebody in the chat. So, guys, who's Beavis? Who's Butthead? Blonde,
left
blonde,
is Beavis.
or the brunette?
Left is Beavis, right is Butthead.
And your left is blonde, yes?
Correct.
Okay, that's Beavis. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
A firm run by Trump's sons, Eric and Don Jr., and they are entitled to 75% of its revenue. And now it's being leveraged to facilitate pardons for criminals. Justin's son, a crypto billionaire, was under SEC investigation for securities fraud after investing $75 million in World Liberty Financial. Guess what, Kara? The SEC dismissed his case.
Oh.
Now, if you had just an average Joe Blow who got lucky and ended up making a few $1 million because somebody may have given him a tip, now that person's not getting out of it. That's the difference. When we talk about real financial crimes, the people who make the millions or even the tens of millions, they're not getting away with it. But the people who make the billions, they're getting away with it.
Well, I think a lot of people get away with it, and they sort of all mutually decide who's going to be the sacrificial lamb, right? Who's going to go down when somebody has to go down. They always sacrifice somebody. Correct. If you look around and your friends aren't going away, you're probably the sacrificial lamb of the group. But, you know, this is something that is very frustrating, especially for somebody like me who believes in abolition, because we decide as a society what constitutes crimes that we consider to be harmful to society and that we think are worthy of reparation and or punitive consequences. And we seem to only deem crimes of poverty as those crimes. Crimes by the rich aren't considered crimes. So it's very interesting to me. This is a level of theft that would be probably the top for the year. And yet that's okay. But some kid who grabs someone's purse because they're trying to like bring home some money to their family because they're starving, that's the person that we want to punish.
Got to punish somebody. Can't spend all that money on law enforcement and not use it, right?
This is what fucking infuriates me. I'm a realpolitik guy. I don't mind a little bit of corruption as long as it's good for all Americans. I don't mind a little bit of strong arming. But here's the problem, or the tragedy. If Trump brought half the competence, expertise, and elegance to governance as he does to grifting, the country would be in a much better place. We have a mob family running the country. That's the bad news. The worst thing is that Michael Corleone is managing the crime and Fredo is managing the government. You are so good at stealing. Yeah. Can you bring some of that elegance, that expertise to the government?
Please tell me he just called Trump Fredo, because that pleases me to no end.
Yeah. So he's effectively calling Kushner Michael Corleone, yes, and he's calling Trump Fredo.
Yes. That seems like that's a pretty fair assessment of what, like, in those particular roles. Yes, I would say that's a fair assessment.
Yeah. Well, it should not surprise anybody. And this is why we are not just one nation under blackmail. We are one nation under total corruption. And once this becomes more and more evident to the average person, the more quickly we accelerate towards revolution.